So it's pretty easy to read, and it'll walk you through all the different options that we're going over. So that's where you can go and use as a reference. What we went over yesterday was the report, how to print your production reports. So you would just select this option here for reports. As you can see here, you'll have your list of routes. Your report here would be the 2-column route book. You could select all of your routes or just one or two, and you would select Get Your Reports. You have a Recreate tab here that will allow you to recreate a route book in different formats. So let's just say you wanted a 1-column route book instead of a 2-column route book. You can select your route, you can select the type of report you want, and you could recreate that report. These other 2 tabs, you really wouldn't have to worry about the preliminary because you won't have that. And the ad hoc tab, that's more so you can look at your restructure scenarios. So since we're not really doing that, you won't have anything here. We have an analysis section where you can do some analysis on your routes. This is where you can select a route book, select a particular product, select a frequency, and get a report in the format that you want that will just display the information for a particular product. You have a bundle counter tool where you can select the number of routes or all your routes, select a product, and add in the total copies per bundle for a particular product. So let's just say it's the AJC. It would be a home delivery. There may be some other delivery types here as we go forward. And then you would select or type in the number of copies that are in the bundle. And this will give you a bundle count report for that route or for all the routes that you selected. We have a report preference. Let me go back to home. You have a report preference where you have a plant report preference and a route report preference. Remember, the plant report preference is where your preferences are today. You can create a route report preference that's specific to a particular route that wants something different displayed on their route book other than what's on the plant report preference. And you can copy a route report preference to another route. Okay, so again, we'll just take a look at a route report preference, a plant report preference. And you can see these are the different items that you can select to add into your view or to be displayed on your route book, such as address instructions. If you wanted to display cross street, customer account number. You have other options to display the totals at the top or bottom of the route book. So you can take a look at those and determine how you want your route books to display.
Fred, may I ask a quick question? This is Eddie Janik. Okay,
Yes.
a lot of this delivery instructions, and this sounds like stuff that we're presently using DTI for. How does that interject with what you're telling us now? Like gate code, delivery instructions, business names, so on and so forth.
Yeah, all of that information is being passed to PCF, and we're putting that in a route book for you. So that information will display here if you want it to display. And I'm hearing a lot of noise in the background, so I really feel it. So this will be information that's passed to us. So if you have address instructions or delivery instructions, pass through our ASL from Cox Media Group, then that will display on the route book. Okay. So it's the information that we're getting from you.
Stuff
Okay.
that we do enter manually into DTI, will that automatically move over to these new route lists or no?
That information will be displayed on the route book.
Okay, I got you, like it is right now. Okay, that's
Yeah.
fine.
Good morning.
Okay.
I have a question. Hello.
Yes.
Okay, my question is, when we do this and check mark what we would like to see in the book, will we have a preview of that? Can we see a preview of that, what we create?
That's when you can go back and use the recreate.
Okay.
And you could recreate the 2-column route book to see what it looks like.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right. And we also had another way to do your printing of your route books, just in case you have an early group of people that you want to get their route books out before everyone else. You can select those routes and create a group. Select the types of reports that you want this particular group to get. And if you clicked on Get Your Reports, everyone that you selected, every route that you selected in the group will be printed with those reports. I'm going to go back to the home screen, and just to quickly review the home screen, we have the plant section up here where if you have access to multiple plants, you'll be able to select this drop-down menu and navigate to another plant. The news section will give you information of activity that happened overnight. So if you entered a late truck, that information would be entered here for the product that you had the late truck on. If you have an alternate delivery day, that information would be added. So that's your news feed there. The performance reports are the same reports that you would get here in the complaints section. This is just a quick access to those reports, and we went over those yesterday. We also have here what's new, where you could add in a note for everyone in the plant, or just to say, for instance, it's a rainy day and you want everybody to make sure that they speak to the carriers and tell them to double bag their papers or anything else you could add there. If you had any vacant routes, that list of vacant routes will show here, and you have the weather for today and tomorrow for your location. So that's pretty much what we went over yesterday. Today, I'm going to quickly go over the complaints again. We're going to go to the starts and mail, and we're going to go into the route management. So we have a few things to cover. So for complaints, we have today's complaints, and we kind of went over this stuff yesterday due to the questions that were asked. So I'll quickly review this again. Today's complaints would be the complaints that were for today. If you see recoverable Y, that means that they want a recoverable for that missed paper. You can also see other different types of messages here for the reason codes for these accounts. You can download this information by clicking on the download button here, and it'll dump all this information into an Excel spreadsheet. If for some reason you don't really need all of these headers, you can go to custom view and select the headers that you want to view or want to be displayed. And you would save it. And anytime you want to see your view, you can go to your custom view and see the display that you selected. This total, today's complaints will give you the total number of complaints that were tested for today. So it's like a little ticker feed. You have hot complaints, which I don't think you will see anything here. We have recoverable complaints. These are the complaints that are recoverable, and you can assign a recoverable route to deliver this paper. I believe you only have one recoverable route, but if you have more than one, you may want to divide these up by clicking on this little edit, and you would type in the recoverable route that you want to deliver this missed paper. There's a recoverable verification where on the carrier end, they have a mobile app where they can go in and confirm that they delivered a particular recovery. So you can view this particular route in this recovery. You'll see a little map. You'll have the address of where it's located, and you'll have a delivery confirmation, yes or no. If the person that's delivering this confirmed it, you would see a yes. Or if you know that it was confirmed, then you can confirm it by clicking on yes, or you can add a note so that you know that that paper was confirmed and delivered. Repeat complaints. We kind of went over this yesterday. You can go back in time and see if you have anything to view there, which we really don't. Let me see. Let me go back a little bit further, and there's nothing to show there. So doing pretty good on the repeat complaints. Previous day's complaints. It's just another way of looking at the complaints for yesterday. So you can see all the complaints that came in yesterday. You can also go back in time and look at the complaints over a period of time or for a particular day. Or you could just look at anything that was recoverable by clicking on the Y. You could also download this information by clicking on the download button here. Next day recoverable complaints. Doesn't look like you have anything scheduled for the next day from yesterday, so we don't have anything there. The CPM report, complaints per thousand. And right now it's just giving you the total draw. This is some information that you would get on the top of the route book if you selected that in the report preference. And you could also download this information for the day. Or you can go back in time and view what it was, say, last week or 2 weeks prior. I don't think you will have anything for a CPM dashboard. So that's pretty much the complaint section. Oh, you do have. Right, so here for the CPM dashboard, you can see by route what the CPM is for each route. So you'll have the plant, the route number. This is for the effective day of the day. The total number of complaints and what the CPM is. And you can view details of what those complaints were. So it's kind of another way to look at complaints. You can look at the worst routes, worst 100 routes, the worst 500 routes. So that's your complaint section. Any questions on any of this? No, most of it we went over yesterday. Okay. For starts and mail, if you go to the starts and mail, you can click on new starts. And let's see if we can get some information for some of this stuff here. All right, so we're looking at the new start address change, restart, address change, and stops, and that's what those checkboxes are for. So that you can see what accounts either started, stopped, restarted, or was a new start in your plant. So you'll get the account number, the plant number, the route number that the change happened, or the stop. For this particular one, it will be a stop happened on this route for this address. And it'll have delivery instructions and the date that this was updated on. Again, you could just change the view if you just wanted to see new starts. I would unselect these, just select the new starts, and now I'm seeing all the new starts for today.
John, I mean, Fred, what if you actually have a new start that is incorrectly routed? Will this system know that or no?
Well, right now we're at client level routing, so whatever route that you're passing to us for that particular new start is what will be, displayed for that particular account.
So in other words, it's not going to, that's what pretty much happens right now. I mean, as far as the system goes, if it's misrouted by someone, whoever does the routing, then it, okay. Then
so you would have to go back and have them update the route.
Right. Yeah, that's pretty much what we do. What I do now. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
And that goes. I guess that goes for a bad address also. If it's an apartment complex and there's no apartment number, or a business with no suite number, so on and so forth.
Well, you can get that information, but it will still go back to the client to have that updated in the ASL, so that when we process the information, the address would be corrected.
Okay, I see.
Right.
Right, that's fine.
Okay, and again, you can download this information by clicking on the little Excel download button here. You could also go back in time for a period of time and download that information for a particular day. So if you want to see the new starts from yesterday, you can go back to yesterday. For account info, this is where you can look up an account. You can look up an account by an address, a phone number, or an account number. Let me see if I still have an account number. Let me see. I think I have an account number. That'll be this one. Yeah. All right, so I'm going to look up this account. All right, and here's some of the information that you'll receive. Again, the account number, whether it's an active account or not. The product, you'll have the address information here. You'll have delivery instructions displayed. You'll have whether it's what plan it's delivered in on each day of the week, and the draw. So for this particular account, it's Monday through Sunday with a draw of 1. You'll also have other information here as far as the geocoding, Latin long, that information, if you needed that. If this particular account you believe may be in the wrong plant, you can click here and submit it for account refresh. That means the account would be refreshed and reprocessed through the system, and depending on how our GeoRouter is set up, it may go back to the correct plant. If not, then we would need to make an adjustment in the border of our geo-router settings for this territory to make sure that this account falls to the correct plan. That's one thing that you can do if you find that you have an account that doesn't belong in your delivery area, is submit it for a refresh. So when you click on that button, you'll get this little refresh screen here that'll have the account number that you were just viewing, and you can select a product, or you could just type in the reason why you feel that you need to reset this particular account, and you could put in a wrong plan, for instance, and you could submit that. So let's cancel that. You can also submit the account for address check. In here, it'll populate your address checking option with the product, the address, the delivery type or customer classification. It'll give you some information about this particular address with this product, and it will tell you what plant it belongs in according to how the territory is set up in the system. So this is saying that it belongs to plant 9152. Okay. You can also edit the address instructions or add an address instructions by clicking on the address instructions button, and you can change the access code or add, more time or less time on a particular delivery. The default is 15 seconds. And you can put in the address instructions here. You have a maximum characters of 125. So you could put delivered to side door. And you would submit that, and that address instruction would be added to that account. There's other tabs here that you might be interested in viewing, like the history of the transactions for this particular account. If there was a history, it looks like this was a new start on 5/5. If this account had any other vacation stops or stops and restarts, that will be listed here, the date that occurred. So you'll have a little history of what happened with that account. The service location, this is just the information that is in our service location table, which is pretty much the same as the basic info. Complaints will give you a list of complaints for this particular account. If they've entered a complaint for missed paper or wet paper, then you would see that complaint listed here. For route history, this will let you know what route this particular account has been on over a period of time. So depending on what happened, it may have been changed from one route to another. So that is your account history. Any questions on the account information? So again, you can use an address, you can use a phone number, or you can use an account number.
Yeah, Fred, real quick, what if a customer gets multiple products? Is that going to show up on the same screen at the same address?
If you have an account that has, if you have an account.
Well, accounts are specific to the product. I understand that.
Yeah, I'm hearing a lot of noise in the background, but sometimes there may be a different product that has the same account number. It's rare, but sometimes that'll happen. You'll see those two addresses listed here.
I guess what I'm saying is, if I get a Wall Street, a New York Times, and AJC at the same address, they're all going to have different account numbers, of course.
If you type in that address, you'll get all the accounts that are at that address.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Otherwise, if you're looking for something specific to a product, you can select which product you actually want to see.
I got you. Okay.
All right. Good. So you can put in the address, and you can say, okay, I just want to see that New York Times at that address.
Okay, I got you. Mm-hmm. That's fine.
Fred, did you say that the default time for delivery was 15 seconds in the system?
Yes.
Okay.
And you can change that with the access codes depending on the type of delivery it is. Sometimes it may take more time to deliver a particular address for whatever reason. So you can add on more time to try to make the route book a little bit more accurate in how much time it takes to deliver.
Right, which is a great feature.
Okay. So that's the new starts, the account info. The address lookup is what we already did, where we can put in the account, the product and the address, and we can find out what plan it belongs in. And we can also download the deliveries. And I know it was mentioned yesterday about dumping the route book into or converting the route book into an Excel spreadsheet. You can download the deliveries for Quit. Let's see that. And it'll put everything into an Excel spreadsheet. Okay, so this will be all the deliveries in that plant, whether it's an active, which would be 1, or inactive, which would be a 0. It'll tell you what today's draw was for each of these accounts. It'll tell you the client or product number, the account number, the customer classification. The Z1 would be a home delivery. It'll give you the address. It'll give you a parsed out address, city, state, zip. It'll give you the building, apartment information, or floor information. It'll give you access code information. So as we just mentioned, if you added an access code to change the time of a particular delivery, that would show up here. We also mentioned something yesterday about labels, and you only wanted labels printed out for particular accounts. This would be a label indicator here that can be updated with a Y for the accounts that you want to print labels for. That would have to be passed through in the ASL. You have delivery instructions for each of these accounts. You have the draw by day. What the draw is, you'll have the delivery map, some geocoding information. You also have the route that it was on today and the WAD route that it exists, and the sequence order. So if you're good in Excel and can massage this data and do pivot tables, etc., you can filter out what you want to see for any particular route or all routes. So that's how you would get all the information into an Excel spreadsheet. Again, you won't have any directionals included in here on how to drive to each of these addresses, but this is the information for each account. Any questions on that? Okay. All right, so there's another button here where you can go back and show reports, but we already know that that's going to bring you back here to the report section. We'll click on it, and it will bring you back to the report section, and you can go to reports and click on whatever route and print out the report for that. Okay. Once you get into doing your own work area designs and restructures, you would be able to select the process ID for the ad hoc run that was done for your particular project you're working on to show those reports. So again, back here, you see here where I'm selecting the process definition here, the process ID for the CMG final. That will be there normally. That's what you would want to select to download your information. If and when you get to the point where you start doing your own work area designs and restructures, you'll have different process IDs here that are related to the work or your project that you are working on. And so you would select that and show the data for that. You'll see that it's either still in progress or that it's completed. You could download the locations for that particular project you're working on, or you could show the reports for that particular project you're working on. Otherwise, for now, it'll be the CMG final. So, any questions on any of the stuff that we reviewed here? New starts, account info, address lookup, and how to download your deliveries. Okay. Route management, we have a few items here. Late truck is for when you want to schedule a particular product for the next day due to a truck coming in late for the papers at your location. Dispatching is if you have a carrier out and you need to split up their route and give it to other carriers. Geocoding will allow you to view a what we would call a kick-out or unmatched record to see if there's a point where you can pin it to. Reassignments is where you can reassign accounts just for today's delivery to another route. Overrides will allow you to override addresses to a particular route of your choice. Route viewer will allow you to view a route or all of your routes on a map. Sequencing will allow you to sequence a route in the order that you want the route to be delivered. Messages will allow you to add a message to the route book or add a message into your portal news section, which is on your home screen. And the travel path viewer is a view similar to the route viewer, but it'll show you the sequence order and path that the carrier would take in order to deliver. We won't really go over the move tool because I don't think you'll be doing any moves. All right, so for the late truck, so let's just say you have a late truck for the AJC and you need to have those papers in the route books for tomorrow, along with all of tomorrow's deliveries. So here it says select the date from. So let's just say from today. It'll give you the plant. It'll give you from whatever was in your CMG final. So that's where the data will be coming from or referencing. Sometimes you may just want to select or exclude a few routes that may not even have that particular product. But most of the time it'll be all the routes. So all the routes are already here. If there's a route that you didn't want, let's just say you didn't want this route to be included in the slate truck, you could move it to the exclude route section. So all I did was select the route and select the arrows and moved it to the exclude routes. That means that these routes won't be included in this late truck setup. Okay. Now, this section here, you need to include the product that you want to set the late truck up for. So we said we were looking for the AJC, so I want to include that. So everything on this side is what's going to be included. Everything on this side is what's going to be excluded. Okay. Then you would select the date that you want to move those copies to. So if we want to see it in tomorrow's route book, we can select tomorrow or any other day in the future for the week. And you would schedule that run. Any comments or questions on how to set up a late truck? Okay. Dispatching. Dispatching is when you have a route that you want to either split or combine into another route, basically on the fly. So let's just say we have a route here, the carrier didn't show up, you need to split it. So let's take this particular route. We want to split it into two. We want to select all the products that are on this particular route book, and we want to make 2-column route books. So this selection here is saying that I want to take this route, I want to split it into two, I want to include all the products, and I want to create a 2-column route book for it. I would want to then give this a name. We could just call it 5100 split and submit it. We want to use a plant report preference. Okay. All right, so now I have 2 different reports it's working on creating. I could select the report, refresh it. Once the status says available or complete, you can then view that particular report. So let's go back here. You can also recreate your routes. Basically, this will just rerun your routes with the data that's in it right now. It'll wind up resequencing it. If it was in a sequence order that you wanted it, that carrier but that carrier is no longer doing that route, and you want the system to optimize the route again, you may want to recreate the route into an optimized sequence. You can resequence the routes, which would pretty much do the same thing. You can combine routes. Let's just say you wanted to combine 2 routes into one. So we wanted to take these 2 routes and combine them into one. And we want to call it 4200. We want to take all the products that are on these 2 routes and let's put an A in. We're going to take all the products that are on these 2 route books and combine them into one and make a 2-column route book. And we'll submit that. So there's a couple different combinations you could use to combine routes, split routes into 2 or 3 different route books. You can recreate a route book, like especially if you change your preferences, you might want to recreate your route books. Resequence your route book will totally resequence the route book. You can combine routes into how many routes you want to combine them to. So you can take 3 routes and combine them into 4. That'll only be for today, though. That won't be a permanent change. Let's go back here and see if any of these are available. Okay, so we have one that's available. As you can see, it made 2 route books, a route 1 and a route 2 with a summary. We can look at the route summary. This route summary report will tell you what each route is as far as the travel time, service time, total time, the number of locations that would be on the route, and the total distance in miles. It'll give you the 2 route books. This will be route 1, and it'll have the driving directions to get to deliveries on that route, with the total number of draw for each product, and route 2. So again, you'll have the driving directions, and depending on what the preferences you chose, it'll display on this particular report. Okay, so now you have your 2 route books. You can assign route 1.
Fred, real quick question. Okay, if you have an address that gets, let's say, 3 Wall Street businesses, you have 4 Wall Street journals going to the same business address. How is that going to show up in the book? Because right now it's showing up, some of them are individually showing as 4 separate individual Wall Streets, but there's also some situations where you have the number 4, number 3 to the right of the WJ. Do you know?
That's really gonna depend on how it comes in the ASL. If you have 4 different records, you're going to see 4 different entries. If you have 1 record with a draw of 4, it'll have 1 entry.
Okay, I got you.
Right? If there's different products going to the same address, you'll see an entry for each product with the draw for that product.
Eddie, in the particular case when it gets the address is listed one time with a 4 on the other side of it, that means it has the same account number. So if they get...
No, I understand. I just wanted to know how it's going to show up in the book. That's all.
Basically the same way it does right now.
Right. Because, and all these street directions are or bold print like this book is showing right now. Is that correct? Where it says left, Georgia 85 connector, all the turns are bold faced in these books, or the delivery?
Yeah, the L and the R means you're going to make a left, you're going to make a right, and the arrow on the address number
side of the street, right?
Which side of the street it's on.
Okay.
All right. So again, if it's a one account that has 4 HJCs, you have a 4 for that street. And if it's multiple accounts, you'll see an entry for each account or for each product and the draw for each, even if it's at the same address.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, so at this point you could say, okay, I like these 2 route books. I need to assign these to 2 other carriers. Now you can come down here and you could dispatch that route to any one of the carriers that are willing to deliver those papers.
Hey guys, can you hear me? Hello?
Hello? Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can we go back and look at route 1, route 2, either one of those routes on that particular split there, and go back to the that last page there where it's showing. Okay, so those miles and service time is based on that bucket of 14 or 15 seconds per drop. Because look at what it's showing, 18 miles and 4 seconds. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, the service time, that service time doesn't quite look right there.
Oh, we know.
The total drive, yeah. Service time doesn't quite look right there.
So, that's a whole, that presents to me, not my
4 minutes. It's not 4 seconds, it's 4 minutes.
Say it again?
That's not 4 seconds, that's 4 minutes.
Yeah,
that's impossible,
yeah,
right?
that would be 4 minutes. Yeah, actually, yeah. The drive time to 31 minutes.
I mean,
but depending on what, yeah. So if this is 15 seconds, I don't know, maybe 4 minutes worth of service time.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Look at that and rationally think that through your own mind. That's what you're gonna look closer right to you guys. Anybody that's on the call? Anybody?
No,
Say that again?
4 minutes. 18 miles in 4 minutes is not gonna happen.
Not gonna happen, guys. That's
the service time. So the service time is only the time allotted for each delivery, which is the 15 seconds. The drive time is the time that it relates to the miles.
You know what? That all leads back up to my point. The buckets, some of these buckets are wrong. So to get that right, that's why we got to go in there and say, you know what? This route is about, say 90 miles long, and then you split it in half. It's still going to be half of 90 miles. So we actually should go in there and edit it to make it more accurate. Because based on whatever those buckets are, that's really unreal. That can't happen, basically. That's because I know the route. I've been on the route, and I know what it actually looked like. So is that same service time applied to all the deliveries for all the routes?
Right now, that's the way it's set up, but you can go in and change that. So I'm sure that maybe some of these have specific address instructions where you need to deliver to a door or to a porch or something like that. Or it could be a long driveway that you need to walk down. I mean, there's a lot of different situations that will, make the delivery or the service time for that particular address longer than 15 seconds.
Well, I know the case. I know what's going on with it. I'm just saying, when I looked at that, it's just interesting. You picked that one route in Brooks, Georgia, coming from the plant, and that's not. None of that is nowhere near an accurate representation of that route. So I guess my question is that how accurate is that for all the other routes in the other areas? I guess probably Melinda or in a better position to answer that, since they have gone live. Does that what you guys are currently seeing, does that appear to be close to reality?
Let me just look at one. This is Melinda. Let me just look at one of my books right quick that I have right here.
Because I understand you have to take certain criteria and put it in, but I just, would it happen to be that route there, and I know that route, that's a Brooks, Georgia route, and that route is like 4 hours long, and it's 30 papers, and it's endless. So when we did the resequence on that to spread it up, that route, it just confirmed my suspicions on some of the buckets, the times that have been allotted us, what it says it's supposed to be. It just leads me to my next question as to whether or not how accurate. I mean, I'm not trying to question the system. That's not what I'm doing. I'm just saying the reality of this stuff doesn't appear to be right based on that.
Excuse me, if I may interject for a moment. This is Steve. We had spoke of previously, earlier this year actually, of sending our non-standard delivery file. Matt, Fred, you guys recall that conversation? Your terminology is something different than that.
Yes, I don't know. Would that be something that, Steve, that you may want to check with Mike Sims on?
Yes, sir.
Because I know we did have discussions about that, about you guys passing the delivery times to us, which we certainly can do.
You may want to supposed to come with the ASL file, I believe.
You may want to do that because if I try to sell that route based on the numbers that's coming out of the system, I'm going to be misleading people. Well, I couldn't sell these routes based on what I'm saying here, because this stuff is, we may want to pass whatever Steve suggested the delivery file. That's no way near just being real about what I know, especially as it relates to this particular route. I can't keep this route fair because, first of all, it's like 2 hours long. There's nothing but rural and wood, and this is not.
Well, Jackie and I will make note of this, that we need to ask Mike Sims to please send that with the ASL file, the non-standard times.
And Jackie, maybe we should take that as an action item for our call tomorrow morning.
Well, my concern is that if say the agency or CMG start trying to do some kind of analysis based on what's coming out of the system, you're going to get a really false. You're going to get a false. You're not going to be able to pull good data based on if you didn't pass the file. Although that file is not as accurate, it's better than what I'm seeing here. When I've looked in the system and did the part around, it's done up throughout the routes. I'm not trying to slow this meeting down, but having been a part of these type of meetings in the past, it's my personal opinion that for the branches that are going live after us and after Rockdale, I think it'll be a better service to us, the business in the field. To really, guys, give us a true look at what to expect. Like when I asked the question yesterday about whether or not we're going to maintain the delivery sequence, I think that would have been no. You're not going to get what you got now. That would have been more. That would have been a more feasible answer. I could have swallowed that better than let's just say dancing around the question. I'm not trying to. I'm just trying to be real about this. I would hope for folks to go out there with the expectation, thinking that. And just tell us, so you guys need to resequence your books and don't sequence them more, because when we go live, it's going to lose it. That's all I have.
Okay.
Okay, Fred, this is Melinda again. In answer to Billy's question on mine, how you doing? You may want to kind of look at after you optimize, before you go live, because in my route book, I'm looking at one of my Ellenwood routes now, and the route only has about 82 papers on it. However, on the miles, it's 64, and service time is saying like 26 minutes, I guess. But when it gets down to my drive time and my total time, it's giving me 2 hours and about 15 minutes, which is accurate because it takes about 2 hours just to throw those 82 pages. So with the optimization, it might change that Brooks route, because I do know about that Brooks route, and that what's on that book now is definitely not what's right for that sucker. But on this particular route that I have, it is correct. So it may be that when it goes live, it may change it.
Okay, yeah. So, you know, depending on the territory, it may be close to being accurate as far as your total time. In some areas, you may need to really update the, you know, the code for that or the service time for that particular address, so it gets closer to the time that you know it should be to do that route. So that's why we have those options available to you to change the time, the service time for that. Okay. Okay. All right. So back to the dispatching, we did some route splits. We combined the route. Right here, we're on the route split 1 and 2, as we were just looking at. Let's just say that we were okay with that report. We could assign 2 routes to do it, and we could assign those routes and everything associated with those routes for that day would be moved to that particular carrier that's assigned to these routes. Okay. That's your dispatching section. Any other comments or questions on the dispatching section? Geocoding. Geocoding is where you can pin an address to a location if it happens to be an unmatched record, or what we call a kickout. So here it shows and displays the map. You can change the view from a terrain to a satellite view. You would select the route that has a kickout, and I just made these 2 kickouts because we really didn't have any that we can actually pin. Anything that we need to have left right now, we have to draw in the street, so you wouldn't be able to pin it to anything. So we have 2 kickouts. That's what this 2 in the bracket here means next to the route, that you have 2 kickouts. And so I can go to the unmatched records here and see what those 2 kickouts are. And let's just say I wanted to view this this route, not route, but this particular address here. I can click on view, and this is where it's saying that it's at. I can re-geocode it to see what options it gives me. Okay, these are candidate options that I can select from for this particular address that best match this address. So it looks like this one that's the first one on the list fits this particular address, right? We're in the right range. It'll give the link ID. The score would be a 100% match. Sometimes you may see something like a 79%. That means it's not exactly 100%, but it's close. You kind of want to stick with anything that's, 100%. So let's just say I want to accept that candidate. I can click on accept. And now that account is pinned to the location where it belongs, and it is removed from the unmatched records for that route. There's another one here on East Kelly Lake Road. I can click on the view button there for that one. This is the location where it's saying that it's at. This is another spot where it's saying that it's at from Google.
Fred, can you just click on the satellite to see what that looks like, if you don't mind, please? Oh, okay. Looks like Google Maps.
So the satellite view looks like the driveway is here. That goes all the way back here. So we could take this and we could move it here. Okay, and we can click on the re-geocode and see what candidates it comes up with. And so looks like we have a 100% match for 100 East Philly Lake Road. So I'm going to say I want to accept that. And it's still going to pin it to the street where it's located. Okay? So there's a driveway here that goes up and around, and the house is sitting right here, right?
Fred,
So
how often are these maps updated? Because the problem where I'm having right now with the Route Smart is, with all the new growth going on around the Forsyth County, North Fulton area, we have numerous new subdivisions being built.
Yeah,
and
neighborhoods need to be drawn in, and we have some heavy lifting to do on our end on that as well.
Okay, yeah, because we're having major issues. I basically pin off the main road it runs off of and put a note on the account, which, you know, it gets very confusing.
Yeah, they're very, very heavy lifting when it comes to the street draws.
Okay.
We have a lot of new territory, neighborhoods, developments that need to be drawn in. So.
And are there regular updates on this? When you say, are there updates to the street maps in this system?
We manually draw these in.
Okay.
We manually draw them in. So, and we'll keep on drawing them in until we are able to fix all of your defects.
Fred, excuse me, did I hear you say in 9152 there were no kickouts, that you had to create those two yourself?
On this particular route, I created two kickouts. There's another one here. That's a street draw for today.
No, that's awesome. There's significantly more of those in Route Smart. So very good.
Just said on that one route.
Yeah,
but you can see the whole list here, though.
Yeah, that two that I created on this route so that I can show you how to pin an account. But this one, I'll just click on that, for instance. This would be the defects or kickouts for today. Here's the unmatched record for that. I could zoom into that, and it looks like it's right here. If I re-geocode that, let's see what it comes up with. It comes up with two candidates that are 79%. So it's close, but it's not 100%. Now I could pin it. Here, but it looks like there's an update to the street or another street segment that needs to be added in. So we need to investigate that.
What is it, Frank?
Try to get it to match with 100%.
Hello,
Yes.
Frank? Yeah, okay, that is a good one because I did the same like Eddie just said. That this Mulberry Court is nowhere on the maps, and I just geocoded it to the main road. That is one brand new subdivision, and that's find that match, I guess, the 107, which is just something geocoded to main road. This subdivision doesn't exist on the map, nowhere. So wherever you find the match to will not be the one. It's out in the fields.
Yeah, and like I said, there's whole subdivisions that we would need to draw in.
Yes. The whole Mulberry Court doesn't exist on the map yet.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's
And
right.
we have 4 more customers. They just started over there. If I go on the road, I will not know where it is. Only the carrier right now knows exactly how to get there. It's really complicated.
Yeah, if you're familiar with the territory, but if you're not, you're probably not going to find, this.
So Brett, how do we work that in the future? How does that get resolved? What do we need? What steps have to take place there?
Well, sometimes, like this particular one, it's 79%. That's something that we are already looking into. So we are already looking into all the defects that you have in all of these plants to try to resolve them. But if you come across some that haven't been resolved over a period of time, you can let us know, and we'll investigate those and join the streets where we need to join the streets. If we can't find anything, we ask you for a template or some, some information about that particular street that needs to be drawn in, and you can send that to us.
So going forward, as new subdivisions get cut in, because there's a lot of growth going on here in Atlanta, then that would be us reaching out to you to say we need to work on this?
Yeah, you could send an email. There is a support portal that you could enter that information in to join a street.
Okay.
But yeah, you could send us an email. You can let us know, and we'll work on that.
We were supposed to be that we needed to do, or we have to have your help with that, right?
Yeah. When it comes to the streets that are missing, we would have to draw those in.
No problem. That's all I need to know. Thanks.
Right. Even if it may display on this map view that you see here, it doesn't mean that it's in our street table. So we would have to draw it in so that your accounts would be actually pinned to it. So,
Fred, I got another question, and this is a persistent issue that we've had with RouteSmart. Existing customer goes on vacation for a week, comes back. It gets geocoded in the wrong location. Are we going to have the same issue with this system? Not every customer, it's just certain customers where you have to go back in and re-geocode the customer to the correct location and resequence it. It happens quite a bit with RouteSmart.
Sometimes that may happen. It could be, the wrong geocode information that's associated with the address. And so that would need to be fixed, but you really shouldn't have or see too much of that with our system.
Because we have a lot of problems with RouteSmart. A lot.
I'm not saying it won't happen, but,
Right.
you need to,
okay.
Yeah, but, yeah. Okay. Any other questions? Yes.
Yeah, the unrouted customers, are they going to appear on the route list exactly the way they are now?
The unrouted customers, all the customers are routed because we receive the routing information from you guys in the file that we process. So everything is routed. The ones that are not geocoded will still show up on that route. They just won't be sequenced within the route.
Okay, and where will they appear on the route list? On the very top of the first page?
Yeah, those addresses will appear at the top of the route book. It'll fall under unsequenced addresses at the top of the route book.
Yeah, and to go back with what Eddie's saying, what is a big problem is having a customer go on vacation, it's on one route and it starts back on another route. And that is a big problem, and we've had several of those.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So again, you really shouldn't have that issue with our system, but sometimes that still may happen depending on what geocode information is associated with that particular address, and that would need to be fixed on our end so that it's pinned to the correct location even after a restart. So most of those we try to maintain on a daily basis anyway. So that there's something that you see where you see a reoccurring issue with an account, moving to the wrong location or a restart, then you might want to let us know.
Okay. Yep. Thank you.
You have some other views here. You can view all your records. So this is another way you can kind of view this particular route on a map. And you can see all your records here. You can see the match score. So you can kind of look at the territory. You can see the records that were manually pinned, which is quite a few. The UAT runs, we would, if there was something where we were doing a project and you needed to process the plant for a UAT run, you would see information here, but you don't need to be really concerned about that. You're more concerned about the final. That's the information that you're looking at. The final all record, final unmatched, and final manual pinned. Okay, these panels, let's see, should move back and forth. And my panel's not working today. You can also search for an address by typing in an address here. I don't know. Let me see if I can find an address. Let me see. This would be. Let's see if I can find that address. So I typed in an address, particular address, and it located that address here. Right there. We zoom out.
Fred, if you have an address, like let's say that's an AJC customer and they start a Wall Street at that same address, will it pin it as a separate location at that same address, or will it just combine it into one location, I should say? In other words, do you have two, it'll be same address, different products. Will it be a separate, will it pin it in the same location, but a different
it'll be a separate record pinned at the same location.
Okay.
Right, it's like having an apartment building and somebody moved out of the apartment and moved across town.
Mm-hmm.
That particular account would move across town, but everybody else in the apartment building will remain.
Well, we have major issues in Route Smart with apartments in general, as far as the sequencing primarily, but also pinning too, just to let you know. Normally what I do is I unpin or ungeocode all my apartments and I pin it in one location, and I go in and resequence in the correct sequence. So hopefully we won't have the same type of issue with this system.
Depending on how that building is situated, as far as the apartments,
right.
You may want to deliver from the bottom up or from the top down, or the sequence order within the building may make sense, not necessarily in number order or alphabetical order. So you still
I understand that. Most of the time, you're better off just going in and finding the building numbers, and even though if it's in your book, and then just, even if it's out of sequence.
Okay. So that's how you look up a route with a defect or a kickout. for a particular route. That's how you would search for a particular address. And this is how you would pull up all the records for the plant, the unmatched records, or the records that were manually pinned. You could zoom in, you could unpin an account and re-geocode it. So let's just say this particular account was pinned in the wrong location. You could zoom into it, you could unpin it, and then you could re-geocode it, see if you could find the correct location. Okay. All right. Reassignments. Reassignments is for a situation if you have a route that is down, like let's say the carrier didn't show up, you can reassign the accounts on that route, a single account, a few of the accounts, a portion of the accounts, or all the accounts on that particular route to a different route. So let's just say I want to select all the accounts that's on this route, and I want to change the route for today to a different route. I would select the route, go down here, update, select the route that I want to move those accounts to, and click on confirm. Then I would recreate my route book for this route, and it will have those deliveries in it. That's only for today. That's not a permanent change. That's how you could reassign an account or a particular address or all the addresses on a particular route to another route, just for today. Any comments or questions on this? Overrides is another way that you could reassign an account or an address to a route. This would be a permanent change. So here you would need to select your plant. You would select a work area design, but you're really not using work area designs right now. You could select all, or you could select a particular delivery type. So your override would only account for the delivery type that you selected. Otherwise, it would be for every delivery type at that address. A product group is all. There could be product groups that are created for a particular product or group of products. If you want to view the overrides, let's see if we have anything, any of these rods. I don't think so. No. I'm going to take this one. Let's see. Let's see if I can add an override here. Okay. This is just a work area design that I created. So this has nothing to do with your system right now. Because again, you're at client level routing. So if something is on the wrong route, you would fix it on your end and pass it through to us. But otherwise, when you get into using work area designs, you can create an override, and you could find the account or your address that you're looking to override to a new route. And you could select that, and you can add an override to it. Say you want everything at this address to move to a different route. So you could select another route, and you could select confirm. And that override will only exist in the work area design that you selected.
Well, maybe interject something real quick, and this isn't necessarily for you. I guess this is for the Mark and the AJC. Is we're talking about rerouting. Is that what you're saying right now? Rerouting a customer from one route to another?
This will take a customer from one route and move it to another on an override. Yes. Okay.
But my guess is it sounds like to me it's a customer that was misrouted and needs to be rerouted. So now that's handled via the AJC. Or
yes.
You're just saying that, like, let's say one route actually passes by this address or needs the paper earlier than it's being delivered now. You're saying that paper can be moved or account can be moved from route A to route B so that it can be accommodated. Is that what you're saying? Or are you saying this is a misrouted customer?
No, I'm not saying that this is a misrouted customer. It could be a misrouted customer, or it could be a situation where, depending on that street or territory, you need to override this particular account to another route.
Well, that would be rerouted. You'd have to reroute. Oh, the account of the. See, I'm confused now because it sounds like you want to move it from one route to another route.
Right.
We can't. That has to be done through AJC as far as the account goes right now. That's what I'm getting.
Yeah. We're talking about two different things. Right now, I said that you guys are using client level routing. So this doesn't really apply. I'm just showing you the feature. Oh, okay. This doesn't really apply to you right now. I'm showing you the feature. So when you get to use, when you start using work area design, when you convert to a work area design, this is how you would be able to do that yourself.
I got you.
Yeah.
But right now you guys are handling the routing. Right? I'm just showing you the feature.
And Fred, if I can interject, just so everybody is kind of clear or has a picture of what's going to be happening as we move forward. So right now, and when you folks all go live on the system, as Fred has mentioned, you're going to be on what we call client level routing, which means we're getting the route number from the AJC and we're passing that through for you. So the plan is, at some point after you go live, is to convert to a work area design. So that means all of the routing of the subscribers will be done within DART. And it won't matter what route anything is on in the AJC system. So when that moment comes when you're running on the work area design and all the routing is done within DART, you'll have a lot of tools that you can use to adjust the routing as needed. If something comes in that's misrouted and you need to move it, or if something comes in and it just kind of makes more sense to move it from route A to route B, a new start or something like that. There's a lot of tools you have available to manage your route structure, and Fred's just making sure he covers all of those features for you. Does that make sense, everyone?
Yes, sir. That's great. Thank you.
Yep.
Everybody get that clear? This is a roadmap to where we're going. It's not where we're at now.
Yeah. Exactly. Hopefully I'm not confusing you guys with showing you this, but this is for work area designs. So that's how you would do an override, moving an address to another route. Okay. The route viewer. The route viewer will allow you to do your routes on a map. And what you see here, this highlighted area would be the plant territory. This here would be the location of the office, the starting location. I can select multiple routes, or I could just select, a handful, and I could show them on the map. So I could see where they're at on the map. I could zoom in. If the highlighted area makes it difficult for you to see the streets, you can uncheck the highlighted area here, and that'll go away. So now you can view your routes, zoom in, You can see the relationship between the two routes. Again, just like with the other tool that I showed you for the geocoding, you could type in an address and you could search for it and it'll zoom to it. Same thing with the streets or zip code, or I don't think you're going to really have a product showing there, but for a zip code, you could search by a zip code, or street, or just by route.
I have a question, sir.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. I see you can pull different route numbers and they give us those beautiful colors, but we don't know what route number is which color. You see, we use that let's say 14200 is the green one, and it gives us that already on the left little box and tells us it's green, and another one gray color. So, but on the map we cannot see except we tapping on that like you just do.
Yeah, you'd have to click on it.
You have to tap. Okay, so then we have to write down what color that route number is. Okay, got it. Thank you.
You just click on it and you'll get the address. You'll get what route it's on.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, thanks.
All right. And again, you could move to a satellite view if you prefer that. And my panels are working today. You can. This works just like a Google Maps. You can drag that down to get a street level view. Okay. Go back out here. All right, so this tool just really allows you to view your route. Any comments or questions on that? And again, you always want to choose this final, CMG final. And once you start working on other projects, when you move to worker designs, you'll see other process IDs that are associated with your work that you can select and see how your route structure looks like. All right. Sequencing. With sequencing, you can come in here and do some sequencing of your routes. So for this particular route, you have the sequence order. You can drag your sequences over to this area. Your address is over here. You can scroll down to where you want to place it, and you can move it back. You can move these up and down and just drag them up and down to place them in the order that you want to place them in. You could highlight one and you can use the up or down arrow. If you made some changes and you decided you didn't want those changes and you want to start it all over again, you can click on this, refresh, and start all over. Or once you have made your changes to the sequence for the particular route, you can click on the little save button here. If you don't click on that button, nothing will be saved. So you would want to select DS here. And that's how you would change the sequences for your routes. Any comments or questions here? Messages. You can create route book messages. You could select the date for the for when you want the message to appear and end. If you have multiple plants, access to multiple plants, you can select your plant, or you can add a plant note. This means that everyone or every route in the plant will receive the message. So you would click on add, type in the message. You would put in a start date and an end date when you want that message to appear, and you would click OK. And that message will appear on every route book. A route note, you can add a route note for a particular route. Put a message right here. And you could have that for a particular date range. That's how you would add a message to your route books, either for everyone in the plant or for just a particular route. Any comments or questions?
Where is the message going to show up? At the top of the page or at the bottom, the last page? Where?
The message will show up at the top of the route book. Right. So if I was to add a message, I would see a plant message here. It could be something as the office location and contact number for the office. If it's a route note, it could be something as simple as, make sure you double bag your papers today or something.
Access codes is usually what I put up there. Gate access codes. Any information that might be relevant to that particular route. Yeah, that's a good one. And the ungeocoded or the ungeocoded customers will show up in that same block. Is that correct? The ones that are not.
Yeah, you'll see this area up here expand.
Okay.
With a plant message, route message, and you'll see the unrouted or unsequenced addresses. So you'll see all that here. All right. That's how you would add those messages to the route books. Portal news messages will allow you to add a message by typing it here. You can select the plants that you want to see the message. You can select whether you want to see it in the TDS portal or the DSP portal. That's the DSP portal is the portal that a carrier would use over their handheld device. The TDS portal is what I'm in right now. You can create a title. You can create a time frame for when you want this message to appear. And you can type your message. This is just like a little Word document here, and you could save that. Where that will appear will be on your home screen, where it says what's new. That's how you get a message here to display. Any comments or questions on how to enter a portal news message? Let's see. I'm going to skip over moves, and I'm going to go to travel path. Travel path is similar to the tool that we just looked at for Route Viewer, where you can select your route. You can view it on a map. You could zoom in and out. So this is where it would start from. And this would basically be the travel path according to the sequence order that's currently in the route book. The travel path is listed over here in the sequence order in the route. So you can click on that and it'll bring you to that address on the travel path so that you can see where it's at. You can go to the next one and so on. So you have an idea of where the carrier is going.
Fred, can you change delivery sides on the street? I know in Route Smart you can go in and actually, excuse me, if the customer's accidentally pinned to the wrong side of the street, or the wrong side of the street, you can actually go in there and move it over to the correct side. Is that something
that would be in the geocoding? That would be in the geocoding section.
Okay. Good.
You could unpin an already pinned account and move it to where you need to move it to.
No, I understand that, but Route Smart actually has a different where you can just highlight a block of street and convert it over to the other, so that the other side of the street. That's fine. I know about the ungeocoding and geocoding. It's just Route Smart has something where you can actually move a block of some street over so that you're delivering on the other side versus the left side versus the right side. I was just wondering if you
you're talking about meandering, like going down one side of the street and
right,
just delivering
exactly,
on one side and coming back and delivering the other.
Right.
I understand what you're saying.
This system bears a strong resemblance to Route Smart. It does. So, okay.
Okay. Going back to the route viewer, the path viewer, you have a legend here which will tell you if it's an active account or an inactive account. So the ones that are in red are actually the ones that are being delivered. Okay. You can change you can put a sequence on here. Let's see if let's apply. Okay. So what I did here is I added a sequence number to this account so that you can see on the map what the sequence is. So you can start from the beginning and follow it through. Starting at 20, it looks like there's a red dot there. Then you would go over here and so on. Any questions on the travel path viewer? I do want to just show you this, the starting location. I know this question came up the other day about the starting location and making sure that it's starting from the correct location. Under route planning, you can select Start Location Manager, and you can see your starting location here, and you can see it on the map. So you might want to check that, make sure it's in the right location. We believe we do have the correct starting locations. I'm going to save the route planning for another training session sometime in the future. That gets into route restructure work using work area designs. And since we're not using work area designs, we're not going to go over that today. So it's 9:47. Let me just quickly review some of the stuff that we just went over today. We went over the complaints section. If you want to see today's complaints, you would come up to the complaints section, click on today's complaints, and you could view your complaints for the day. Download by clicking on the little Excel download button. For the recoverable complaints, you can view the recoverable complaints. You can edit the recoverable route for a particular account. You can see the route that it currently exists on. You can download that information here. The recovery verification, if there was verification that was needed on any of these routes. Let's see if there's any here. And you can click on the route and you can see whether it was verified or not, or if you know it was confirmed and verified for delivery, then you can select confirmed, and that would change delivery confirmation to yes. Otherwise, the person that's delivering this can log into their DSP portal and confirm the delivery. To view your new starts, you will click on the new starts, select your plant, select whether you want to include restarts, address change, and stops. Click on Get. You would get that report, and you can download that to Excel. You can select a period of time, see what the new starts were for the past 3 days or for the past week. If you wanted to look up an account, you would use the account info. You can type in the address. You can get a list of accounts that match that address. You can type in a phone number and see what accounts will pull up with the phone number or an account number. And you can get the account number there, or for a particular product and an account number, or a particular product and an address. To download all of your deliveries, you can select download deliveries. Remember, you always want to select the CMG final, show progress, and you'll see that it's complete. You can download the locations for your final run. And you can save it, and then you can open it. And that will give you a list of all of your deliveries that are in your plant, whether they're active or not active. And if you like working with Excel, you can massage this data to do some analysis on it. Late truck, if you need a product to show in a route book or all of your route books, you would go there. Select your criteria here. This would usually be for today. The information would be populated. Everything on this side would be included. Everything on this side would be excluded. If you wanted to only include one route here, then you would move all the other routes over here. If you want to include a product or more than one product, you would select those here and move the product that you want to include into the late truck here. And you would schedule your run. And you would select the date that you want it to be available in the route books, and then you would schedule your run. Dispatching is where you can split or merge route books on the fly. Just it may happen where you have a carrier that doesn't show up and you want to split their route into 2 route books, or merge it with another route book, another carrier that wants to deliver it. Dispatching. I'm running a little slow right now. Let's see. Let me reopen up my browser. It looks like I'm locked up here. Or this may be the end of the training session. Let's see. I think this may be the end of the training session. My laptop is frozen, so I would have to reboot, it looks like.
Oh, no.
Wait a minute.
Well, it's better that it happened now than at 8:05.
I know. Let's see. I think it's starting to come up now. Let me see.
Well, while you're doing that, Fred, there was something I wanted to mention anyway, so I'll just do that now while you're working on that. So we had some conversation yesterday around vacation holds and how those are handled within the system. So we did take the requirement from you guys yesterday, and we are updating the system so that the vacation holds will remain as memos each day on the carrier mail for the route that has the hold. So they'll get an updated message each day in their carrier mail that says, this address is on vacation hold. The vacation hold started at such and such a date. You should have 6 papers right now. So those messages will change beginning either tomorrow or Friday. So you'll be able to see those updated. I think there are a couple of folks on vacation hold in Conyers right now, so you'll see those changes coming through.
Yes, this is Melinda in Rockdale. We did get a message. We did notice we got today that did say deliver vacation package, the date that it started from. However, this may be something Steve and Mark can work on, but we're not getting the paper for that. We're not getting the draw for the vacation hold. So they're having to go to the vacation rack and get the papers. We're still getting them on the they see set out sheet, we're getting the paper that way, but in PCF, we're not getting the draw for that vacation hold.
Sure. So so let me just ask to make sure I understand. So are you saying that you're not getting shipped the papers, or they're not included in the carrier's draw on the paperwork?
That's what I'm saying.
Not included in the carrier's draw.
Okay.
No,
Yeah. So that's so the way that it has been set up, and so the way it's been running for the past week is the draw has been going to the vacation hold route. And so that's the change we're making. So going forward, so I think there is still one address that's on vacation hold as of today.
it is.
So what will happen is that that account will get added into the draw for the route, and the carrier will actually get a message on their carrier mail that this person is on vacation hold. They need to hold the paper.
Okay. Great.
So going forward, that will be added to the carrier's draw.
That's correct. That'll be part of the carrier's
Right.
draw each day,
Right.
and they'll be responsible for holding the paper.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
No, it doesn't look like I'm getting back in, so it's 9:57. Is there any other questions that anyone has at this point?
Yeah, I have a question. Now, when you're making the changes to the routes, when there's an absent route, does that affect the draw? Would the total draw go to the split routes, or will it remain on the original route?
The draw will go to the split routes for that day.
Okay.
That's for that day. That's not a permanent change.
Okay, and so it'll be shown in the system because each carrier is paid per piece, and we want to make sure that they get paid for those that they're running.
Yeah, and that change will, be applied to whoever you assign those copies to. Any other questions? I don't know, Jackie, you have anything on your end? If you're still there? Anyone else?
No, sir.
Okay, then that'll be the end of the training session for the day. Everybody have a good day.
Good job, Fred.
Awesome.
Thanks for the
Awesome,
insight.
Fred. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.